Hello, everyone. There's been some questions about the timeline assignments that come with each unit for this particular course. So I'm going to go through that and hopefully give you some ideas about how you can do it quickly every week. So I've opened up Blackboard and I go to the course content and I'm going to scroll down and there we are. There is the Unit 1. So we'll do that. If this is down right here, I'll just push this little arrow that's going down or click on the first paragraph itself. And I can see that it opens up a number of different resources and readings for us. And if we go down to the very bottom, we'll see that here is the timeline activity for this week. All right, so now right here, we have it says view instructions. I'm going to click on that. First thing they want us to do is to download the PowerPoint timeline template onto the desktop. And I've created a folder on my desktop that says Art101. And inside of that, I put things that I might need for the course, including this timeline template, which I'm going to rename with my first name and last name, and then Art101 timeline. And then that's where it's going to be stored. It's going to be reside right on your desktop, not in Blackboard itself at that point. All right. Now, down here, just below the timeline template itself, is the PDF file that gives you the instructions for that particular unit's timeline. And if we look down here, you're going to see that there are some requirements. They want you to use the timeline. They want you to get onto the timeline and replace some of the information that's currently blank for that particular unit and that particular culture and era. So let's go to that. We're going to open that up. So here we are in my folder that's on my desktop, and I'm going to open up the timeline template. This is, of course, assuming that you have PowerPoint and know how to use it. There are some videos available for that, which if you ask me, I'll try to find them for you. I think Post University also offers some student help with that as well. So this template covers the entire course. So all of the different time periods and civilizations are already loaded up into this. And I can see that if I click on this next one, here we are. This was Unit 1's. They gave us a little gift, and they already put the Venus of Willendorf up there as one of the visual examples. And they also put in the time period. Now, this time period it was a little bit on the rough side. I mean, we're talking about 50,000 years ago to about 2000 or so BCE. So the dates are not exact until we get to some of the later civilizations where written records are able to allow us to pinpoint when these changes, administration or whatever took place. All right, so we have the timeline open here on the back in my desktop. Above that, I'm looking at Blackboard because I want to find out where I can get the information to put in to the timeline to complete the assignment. So I'm opening up the course content and I'm looking at Unit 1 or whatever unit you're working on currently. And I'm coming down here and I'm going to click on the reading. And that's going to open up the text. Here we go. All right, so right here, they actually give us some information here, concerning the Paleolithic age. That could be very useful to you. And there's also some high points here with Paleolithic, Neolithic, the New Stone Age for this particular section. Those are some of the things that might come in handy when we fill in part of the timeline. You could also come up here and click on this timeline, and that'll also give you a little maybe more complete picture here. This one's going from about 40,000 years ago, the early Paleolithic through the later in Mesolithic and into the early Neolithic age. So each chapter will have something like this in here, its own timeline that's independent of the timeline that you're creating, but the information might be useful. All right, so I am going to, let's get rid of that. We're going to go down through here, click on a chapter contents. And let's just start here at the beginning. All right. So this is going to allow me to go through the chapter contents and see all the information that I might need to fill in the timeline as far as, the dates. As I said, in the early ancient periods in Europe and other places around the world, the dates are not that exact just because there was no system of writing that we know of that recorded this in any exactitude. Okay, here. So they're going to give us some examples here of images. I know we don't want that, sorry. Examples of images that you can click through here on the bottom if you want to. And there's Lascaux animals. It also gives us the maps about like where this stuff was taking place, stuff in question. And so here we go. We're actually going back to a long, long time, over millions of years ago, where they point out that there were like pre-human species that also have left some marks behind. Evidence is not that available and abundant because of the time period that has passed, but other pre-humanoid types of species were also doing some artwork as well. All right, so you can click through here, and let's say we go down to this one. Now, this might come in handy because this is going to give us the images that you might want to put onto the timeline for each assignment and each unit. You can also Google that too, or look for other sources within the Blackboard course itself. There is some links in there. But let's say I wanted this one. I can come up here and I'm on a PC right now. So I'm right mouse clicking it, and I can save the image. I might want to save it into a folder of images in my desktop folder for Art101. Or I might just want to do this even more quickly and just go to copy image. So I'm just going to go copy the image. All right. Now that image is copied, the one of the woman holding a bison horn. And I'm going to go back to my timeline. And here I am on the timeline. Let's go here and make it a little bit bigger. There it is. And if I click in here, let's say I wanted to, instead of the Venus of Willendorf, I wanted to replace that with the woman holding the bison horn. They're both very cool. Here we go. So I'm going to go Control V is the universal keyboard shortcut for pasting something in, which I've just done. So Control V pastes it in. That's true, of course, with these programs and Microsoft Word and other programs as well. So this has given me this this image, and it's kind of given me this. It's a little bit bigger than I want. I'm going to come up here and grab these handles that are marking off the image, and I should be able to bring this over here. So I could put it in right here instead. There we go. So now what I've done is I put that in. Now, here's something that a lot of students, not just in this course, but other courses as well, seem to not quite understand, and that's aspect ratio. Being a photographer, I guess I hear about it a lot, so that's why I know so much about it. But what you want to do is you don't want to, when you make these bigger or smaller and you click on an image and it comes up with these handles, what you want to do to make it bigger or smaller is grab one of the corner handles, click on that, hold down your button, and then you can move it back and forth, making it larger or smaller without changing its aspect ratio. If I'm going and I grab it from one of the sides, it will change the aspect ratio. So here I'm really putting her on a diet here, or I'm going to put on a few more pounds, but this really is not the way the actual image looks. We're back to about here. All right. So, to grab the handle on the corners, any of the corners, move them up and down, and that'll make it larger or smaller without changing or distorting the picture. All right. So then I would come in here and I would click on this area right here, and it opens up. You can see there's a little text box here. When I got to the ancient Aegean and found out about what time period that was in, I would type in that time period here. Now, the second part of the timeline is to, you can scroll down and find the slides further down, but there's a quicker way to do it. You can jump right to it by just clicking on this. So you scroll over, say, prehistoric Europe, and what I see is it tells me click to follow link. So that's on a PC. I haven't tested this out on a Mac, but I will. I have one of those too. So click it. That immediately jumps us to this second part of the assignment. So the first part was finding an image and finding the dates for that particular time period that we're covering. And I can see up here that actually, it kind of told me that too. Originally, there was like a star up here up at the top of each one of these, and what they want you to do is just bring it down to roughly the place where we're talking about here. That we're talking about the European area, France, current France, and places like that, up into Germany. And so we'll just put the star there. That's where it's supposed to go. Now, you'll notice on the right-hand side, there is going to be a bunch of like faux Latin text originally, which is just a placeholder for you to click on that, get rid of it. And then what I would do is I just put in like bullet points or leave the bullet points there. It's optional. And then what you're trying to do is find 3 big picture ideas about this particular time period. And it could be, I think they're asking for something, it has to do with the art, but it also could have something to do with, like, say, the political leadership or the climate or whatever, because that did also affect the way art was made and viewed. So here I put in cave paintings depicting animals and other natural scenes. There were small portable Venus figurines and so forth. That's all we need. You just need 3 and keep it simple. So once you do that, you're going to come up here and go to, we're going to just go save. And I could save it as a copy or whatever. Right now, I believe it has, I have it set up so it's like automatically saving it for me, but I'm going to save it as a copy just in case. And it's going to tell me, do I want it on my OneDrive or whatever? I really just want it on this PC. So up here, it actually is telling me I don't have to go way back here. I can just go up here, click on that. Okay, it's not connected to the folder, okay? So here we are. Let's go through it this way. Apologize for that. So we're going to go to the desktop. We'll open that up and find where we need to go. There we go, finally. Now I'm actually in the desktop and not up in the cloud. All right, so that's where I would, I would save that in here. It probably would ask me, it's probably going to ask me, do I want to replace the one that I currently have if I've added to it, because maybe I'm on unit 2 or 3 and I've put more stuff in. Yeah, you just want to replace it with the stuff that has your original information from unit 1 on it, and you want to add in the other units information too as we go through each week. So I would do that. And now that's on my desktop folder. So when I go to do the assignment, what I need to do is I open up the assignment again, and you can attach to your submission that PDF, that PowerPoint file that I have saved onto my desktop. Another option, and I've run into some of these problems with some of the submissions that the PowerPoint had some sort of a problem with it, and I had to repair it or whatever, which I've done pretty successfully. Another possibility for submission would be to, when you're in PowerPoint, to export it as a PDF file, save the PDF file, and that's not going to be really that editable like a PowerPoint. But it doesn't matter because that's just your submission for the week. I can open that up as well on my computer, take a look at what you did, and then grade your work. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I hope that was helpful.